headquarters where they do all these kind of investigations. We were told here by the IG himself he was taken to Vigilance House. Mr. Speaker, who ordered the arrest? Because I think that one has not been put clearly here, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, and just to advise the Senator of Garissa, before he lectures again, it took the death of the firstborn of Pharaoh for Pharaoh to let the Israelites go. It has taken the death of Ojwang for us to confide together and say we have to fight this to the end. He's a martyr, Mr. Speaker. And so we must say as a Senate, no one else should die. Mr. Speaker, no one else. And if anybody dies at the hands of the police or anybody else, Mr. Speaker, don't bury them, Mr. Speaker. The family should not bury them. We should be going to every police station, Mr. Speaker, to tell them that you killed this man, we need justice. Even Ojwang should not be buried, Mr. Speaker. He shouldn't be buried until we get justice, Mr. Speaker. My question to CS Murkomen: who is killing us? Who is killing Kenyans? Who is killing the youth? If you do not have that answer, Bona CS, because 4 years ago on the floor of this house, you said, let us not sacrifice Kenya. We are not going to sacrifice Kenya, but we must sacrifice someone who is in line from the DCI, IG, the DIG, even the CS. So propose to us who should step down on this issue, at least justice to be done and also to be seen to be done, Mr. Speaker. And as I rest my case, the officers who arrested Mr. Ojwang, Mr. Speaker, all the way from Homa Bay, it seems they were an okay officer. They were fine. They were giving him the phone, talk to your family, talk to your friend. They even a clip that is online. So it seems those officers were doing their work. We need to find out, after he arrived in Nairobi, Mr. Speaker, who did what.
Senator Kisang.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I want to associate myself fully with the statements done by Senator for Garissa. Honorable Speaker, those of us from North Drift, we have suffered for so long, and I wish the media could have helped us and highlighted the way we are doing this, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I have three questions. Question number one to the DCI. How is Chief Inspector Talam a main suspect, as you have alleged, and you have told us Talam was not in the police station during this particular period when Kajwang was brought to Central Police Station? Second, Honorable Speaker, I want to find out from the IG. I don't know if there is harmony in the senior rank of National Police Service, from the IG all the way, because I'm suspecting they could have used this opportunity that was a complaint raised by DIG Langat to settle some scores, because we know in the next 1 or 2 years there's going to be succession in the National Police Service. Third, Honorable Speaker, is to CS Murkomen. You have heard from my colleagues here that cybercrime is not really a very serious crime. There is an opportunity for you to have a policy where those who are suspected to have done cybercrime to be invited to go to police stations instead of being looked for. Because I expected the DCI to have used the same resources they did and went to Homa Bay to look for those who killed Father Lois. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Senator Essie Okenyure.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. First, I wish to say that the issue of Ojwang is a very emotive issue because, Mr. Speaker, we have spoken about every other thing, but no one is speaking about the young lady wife who's been left behind, the young child. Cabinet Secretary CS Murkomen, I would wish that out of empathy we commit to assisting the young lady and child who's been left behind. Mr. Speaker, I also wish to find out an explanation on the time difference, because on an ordinary day when I leave Kisii for Nairobi is less than 4 hours. I'll be in Nairobi. I would wish to have an explanation from the IG on the time difference between the time Ojwang was picked and his arrival at the Central Police Station. To the DCI, what criteria did you use to conclude that the OCS is the prime suspect? Because even for the members of the public who viewed the body at the city mortuary, the body does not actually appear fresh, meaning there was quite some time. It's either allegedly the officers at the Central Police were under duress to admit a half-dead person, because the time duration by arrival at Central Police and the time Ojwang was taken to Mbagathi, it was less than 1 hour Ojwang was declared dead, Mr. Speaker. So I do not wish to ask further questions, Mr. Speaker, but the death of young people like Ojwang, young people like Duke Nyabaro in Kisii who was found hanging and nothing really happened after that, I hope we are not just going to be emotional and this gathers dust, Mr. Speaker. We need to find why Ojwang, a young man from a peasant family, had to undergo this when they come to the city to try and make a living for themselves, Mr. Speaker. May his soul rest in eternal peace, and so sorry for the family and the people of Homa Bay. Thank you.
Senator Mariam.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, first of all, we are only listening to one side of the story, Mr. Speaker. So I urge the committee first to listen to the Albert family and to hear more from them, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, my question is about cybercrime. Mr. Speaker, cybercrime in Kenya is increasing. So how the DCI, why is it so important for this one to be so crucial up to someone, a young man, lost his life, Mr. Speaker? Does it mean the person who is issued by Albert is holding a big office? That's why he lost his life, Mr. Speaker. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, IPOA listed 5 members of DCI who arrested Albert from Homa Bay, Mr. Speaker. But when it comes to the first prime suspect, why is it not them? Because when the Albert was admitted to central police stations, the OCPD refused to admit because of his health sector, because they said, we cannot admit him until maybe you have to take him to the hospital, Mr. Speaker. Then does it mean that 5 members of police, of CIDs for DCI must be the first suspect to be interdicted, Mr. Speaker? Secondly, Mr. Speaker, when IG interdicted the police, Mr. Speaker, why are they not arrested and not put in jail so that the investigation will go on? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Mbugua.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Very quick clarification. First, from the IG, I would want to know the name of the officer and the designation of the officer who found the late Albert Ojwang in the state he was in the cell, for him to be taken to the hospital. And secondly, still to the IG, I would want to tell this House the cell number and the holding capacity of the cell the late Albert Ojwang was in. And finally, I would want you to assure this House and the country at large that junior officers who be involved in who be called to be as witnesses in this matter will not be discriminated, and they will be safe. Thank you, Speaker.
Senator Karen Nyamu.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I know the IG of Police has apologized today for the initial statement, but that initial statement, Mr. Speaker, is tantamount to a cover-up. And we are curious to know on whose behalf was he doing that cover-up. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, when it is a VIP who is subject to investigations, it takes a very short time to have people charged in court. How many police officers were on duty in Central Police that night? Mr. Speaker, I have been held in Central Police cell myself. And so I know at night there's not so many police on duty. How come we don't have all of them taking plea? Why haven't they been charged to date? Because you cannot tell, such a crime cannot be committed in the ignorance of anyone in that cell. Everyone what do you call it? Everyone is involved one way or another. Another thing, this complacency by the police is giving this government a very bad name. We have a tag on this government as a blood-based government. How many people have been charged with the death of the multiple Gen Zs who have died under this administration? It is not the work of the government to charge. It is the work of the police. Are you also involved in sabotaging our government? We want to know. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Asige, I'll give you your minute that you lost when you're doing your asking question.
Thank you, Speaker, for acknowledging that I had lost a minute. The clerk's table, for some reason, has given every other senator 3 minutes, as you had instructed, but myself, when I stood, I only got 2 minutes, and that is on record. And I'm thankful for the extra minute. Speaker, what I was trying to say as I was concluding is that the IG spoke about a primary report having been the reason why he said the cause of death was suicide by Albert Ojwang. And I wanted to understand who was the person who gave him that primary report, because that might at least shed some light on whether that person, that officer who gave him the false report, is involved in the cover-up and obstructing of justice. And secondly, I wanted to know if this particular investigation is hinged upon one tweet, one post by the complainant. Where is this post? Because none of us have seen it. Can the DCI table that post so that we can analyze its veracity and its authenticity and make sure that it's not AI generated or tampered with in any other way? Thank you.
Now, honorable senators, I will now allow the witnesses led by the CS to respond to the many questions that you've raised. However, before I allow the CS to take to the stand, Senator Karungo Wathangwa, while asking a question, indicated that the IG had said that the young man was interrogated at Vigilant House. I have asked the clerk at the table to confirm from the Hansard whether that is true, and he has indicated to me that that is not true. You may now proceed, CS.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, let me start by thanking my colleagues, the senators, for really raising very weighty issues that I have, as I already said, some we have been able to note, some we will get it from the Hansard, and those which are concerning policy issues, Mr. Speaker, will do the proper follow-up. I also would like to say on the floor of this House that considering the number of cases that IPOA is being requested to investigate, Mr. Speaker, from a policy perspective, it's important as a country that we give IPOA more support in terms of resources and ability to hire more investigators so that these cases are heard and resolved expeditiously, because people are asking this question, Mr. Speaker, how come the one for Honorable Were was handled within a week or so on a shorter time, and how come this one is not moving at the same speed? Mr. Speaker, it must be understood that this is IPOA investigating police. On the other incident, it was the police themselves investigating a crime, and therefore the capacity, whereas there are not enough resources on the DCI side, we believe that DCI has a greater capacity than the IPOA itself. Therefore, IPOA requires some level of support so that this can move expeditiously. The question Kenyans are asking is that, are we treating this case different from those that are affecting persons who are prominent, like a member of parliament and so? And I was saying, Mr. Speaker, it must be seen from the context that for the questions of investigation in Barakoi, for example, Angata Barakoi, Mr. Speaker, for example, and the case of this one for Albert, all of them are by IPOA, which has a smaller establishment than the DCI, and therefore the process gets slower. If it was the efficiency and the capacity that the DCI has, it would have moved a little bit faster. Mr. Speaker, very few questions have been raised, but in depth, Senator Muma has asked policy review. I already gave my undertaking already in the House earlier that when I came to office, I have instructed the team in my office to look not just at the law, but also the judicial decisions, including Justice Ogola's decision, Mr. Speaker, to see how we can mainstream them and improve the service standing orders or work on different regulations or establish a new legislation that can be able to fill the gaps. This is not an exercise that is confined only to the ministry, but also we can work together with the relevant committee of this House. Mr. Speaker, on the Commission of Inquiry and Inquest, I think those are very genuine legal, constitutional parameters that can be used, or instruments actually, that can be used to get to the truth. Where there is doubt that the truth can be found, these mechanisms can be utilized. However, Mr. Speaker, in the situation that we are, I think it's too early, considering that it was only 2 days ago, to pass judgment that IPOA is unable to do these investigations. But should the investigations not bear any fruit, Mr. Speaker, those are instruments that can be considered by this House as ways of investigation. Mr. Speaker, on the curriculum, we have the curriculum. We have the curriculum, and as Senator Muma, having myself trained before on rights-based approach to development, I know what you mean by saying, talking about human rights approach to service delivery. The instruments are there, but the ability to disseminate it, to catch up with the older population that are already been trained, and also the ability for the National Police Service to have continuous training is constrained by resources and facilities. In fact, we might have this discussion another time. You know that all over the country, wherever you go, and for those who have been with me in the Jukwaa la Usalama, you realize that the National Police Service has many issues that needs to be dealt with. A police station, even for a police station to have a CCTV, is just by luck, because some of them don't have OB, some of them don't have furniture, they don't even have a computer. We have shortage of vehicles. We have all many other challenges that this administration realized. That is why there was a police reform committee that was put in place to see how best are we going to enhance. And that's why we're doing procurement now for vehicles. We're trying to do digitalization and digitization, so that if you had the DCI properly, it told you that part of the occurrence book is reported digitally, and that's evidence that cannot easily be erased, not like a book or a paper within the police station. So there's a lot of work that we want to do on digitization and digitalization of the police service. But the challenge we still have is to work on the resource constraint that we have. So police officers are asking for basics: a police station with a cell, a police station with a vehicle. At the moment, OCS is sharing a vehicle with OCPD and so forth. And all this we are working on as a ministry, and this is an area that I put a greater emphasis to see that the police officers are resourced to do their work. Again, on the issue of Senator Beatrice Ogola, I am very clear, Senator Beatrice, I am very clear in my mind. I saw the father of the late Albert Ojwang, and like any other parent, I felt the pain of that parent. And they only give possible gift we can give them in the time that they have lost their loved one. And it's even more painful when it's the only child. Mr. Speaker, is to promise them that we will do everything we can and to ensure that justice is done. and to ensure that those who perpetrated this heinous act are put behind bars, Mr. Speaker, so that they can suffer the pain of having inflicted this grievous bodily harm, which eventually resulted in death of Albert Ojwang. Mr. Speaker, that is the little we can give. Of course, Mr. Speaker, as I said earlier, we are obligated as leaders and also citizens and also within this leadership of this ministry to support their family, like Senator Veronica Maynard asked earlier, so that we, in a small way, we can be able to facilitate and help them to find ways of comforting themselves. But I tell you, Mr. Speaker, there is nothing actually that can compensate the loss of a child. And therefore, Mr. Speaker, I stand with them, and I will do everything as a cabinet secretary to ensure that those who committed this act are brought to justice. Mr. Speaker, she has also asked what's the motive. I think the motive is a subject of investigation. Let's allow the investigations to go on. It will eventually reveal to us who exactly did it and why, Mr. Speaker. There are many indications, almost like the whole indications show that this is a crime that happened within the police station. Mr. Speaker, if it is confirmed that it happened within the police station, Mr. Speaker, I believe, Mr. Speaker, that those who will be found should be held accountable. But, Mr. Speaker, we must also find resources to expeditiously make our police station safe haven for those who are going to there to get justice and particularly to be brought before justice. Mr. Speaker, on Senator Manzo, is raised a very valid question. There are a host of regulations that whose period was terminated was past 10 years, and we had an omnibus extension that happened. But now there has to be, as I told you, there is a review process for the service standing orders. When eventually the review is done, it will be brought to this House and the National Assembly for purpose of approval. And I agree with you. It is not true that a policy must come here for it to be effective. That's not true. But for a policy to be a sessional paper, it must come to this House and therefore approved by Parliament. But if we want to have a policy for the sake of a policy, it can be adopted by the Cabinet after public participation processes, and it can still work as a national policy. Mr. Speaker, I want to confirm to Senator Seki and all others who are talking about whether or not I know whether the DIG should be held accountable or not, that I do not hold a brief to defend or in any way to accuse him. Mr. Speaker, I believe as a lawyer that evidence must lead to the suspect. And Mr. Speaker, when that evidence leads to that suspect, Mr. Speaker, in my office and any other office of government, no one should be able to block any processes of justice. What I hope we cannot do as a nation is that we cannot sanctify a process, a very heinous act that was done by criminals, somehow maybe through even a mob justice, if I put it that way. We cannot sanitize it, Mr. Speaker, by also carrying out mob justice against the other people. We must always, if we are calling for equity, Mr. Speaker, we must come with clean hands. If we are calling for justice, we must be ready to follow the legal processes, Mr. Speaker, so that we can lead us to the response. Mr. Speaker, Honorable Chute asked the question of, generally just captured the issue of OCS Marwa. OCS Marwa is a person known to me personally. I was with him in Marsabit just not long ago. And, Mr. Speaker, most of these police officers are suffering. Mr. Speaker, a lot of them are sacrificing for their country. I went to see some of the police officers who have suffered because of the operations in Boni Forest, protecting our country in the border. Those who are doing a lot of operations in the Kerio Valley region and issues of banditry and the eastern and upper eastern areas. Mr. Speaker, there are many, many police officers who are sacrificing their time and energy to protect this country. Mr. Speaker, this cannot be a representation of the police officers. There are very few elements in the police office who are errant, who are violating the law, Mr. Speaker, but that does not mean we do generalization that the entire 120,000 police officers are all culpable. Mr. Speaker, even in this reform process and the work we have been doing, we've been trying to edify and praise those who are doing a good job, even, Mr. Speaker, as we hand over to a justice system process to those like the ones who have committed this heinous act to be held into account. Senator Tango has asked me, who is killing Kenyans? Mr. Speaker, that is a very good question, but better answered, Mr. Speaker, from an investigation process. Again, when I come back with a statement that was capturing the protests, the deaths that happened in the protests last year, when all of us, including Senator Tangwa and the group were on one side. Mr. Speaker, I will be coming with that statement back to the floor of this House. And Mr. Speaker, when I do so, we will interrogate all the people who suffered as a result of that protest, Mr. Speaker, and again, we'll be able to know how far the investigation have gone. So let me not use this opportunity to enlist it, because already that statement is to our office, Mr. Speaker. The day I will be called again, and we were supposed to interrogate today, but the day I will be called again, we can be able to look at these issues. But Mr. Speaker, every case is investigated independently, and Mr. Speaker, every person who is held culpable is brought before justice. Mr. Speaker, Senator Kisang has said a true thing that, Mr. Speaker, perhaps, Mr. Speaker, we should be also expending our energy to make sure that, Mr. Speaker, we deal with banditry. We are doing everything possible. Mr. Speaker, let me say this. The problem of banditry, particularly where Senator Kisang comes from, which is also my home county, Mr. Speaker, and the entire Kerio Valley, has been a problem since 1975. Mr. Speaker, it had been so intensified in the last 2 years that it was a big problem 2 years ago. Mr. Speaker, the statistics I have, and I really challenge anyone to call me to come with the numbers here, is that between January 2024 and June 2024, Mr. Speaker, in comparison to January 2025 and June 2025, we've reduced the incidences of cattle rustling by more than half, Mr. Speaker. That is a tremendous progress. And it is because of police officers who are sacrificing their time and energy to deal with issues of banditry in the Kerio Valley. You heard Senator Ezena speaking here that some time ago, Samburu was terrible. And Mr. Speaker, we are working hard to make sure that we deal with this issue, even as we fight the bigger issue of proliferation of small arms, the access of ammunition from the neighboring countries, porous borders, and all the challenges that we go through. Our police officers are doing everything. And being a person who sat in this chamber again, and I've been challenged and raised serious issues about banditry, Mr. Speaker, I have the responsibility to do everything to make sure that that region, Mr. Speaker, we get rid of bandits, and we are doing so. And therefore, Senator Kisang has referred to the case of Father Alois. Mr. Speaker, there is an ongoing, first let me say this, in Kerio Valley region, the entire belt of the Kerio Valley is now pacified, except a corner in Marakwet where Kisang is talking about between Marakwet, West Pokot, and Baringo in Tiati constituency, and a corner also in Loruk in Baringo County, and then some incidences in Samburu, and a corner also between Samburu and Meru and Isiolo. Mr. Speaker, even the incident that happened in Marsabit was isolated recently. Mr. Speaker, the fact that today the rest of the region is pacified shows the effort that has been put by this administration and our police officers to take care of that region. And that's why when you see some of the leaders who are looking for sound bites and petty comments, Mr. Speaker, they have absolutely nothing. They are lofty statements, Mr. Speaker. Sometimes, big statements, lofty, but have no statistics, have no reference to anything. They have absolutely no reference to the performance of the officers. And Mr. Speaker, I'm very happy that some of these critiques that criticize the Cabinet Secretary.
Honorable CS, we will have
I have the last answer, Mr. Speaker. I still have two more.
Thank you, Honorable CS.
Two more, Mr. Speaker. I was just saying on this particular issue, the good news is that those who are targeting the Cabinet Secretary, at least they have no problem with the IG and National Police Service. So for their political good, if they want to run with my name, they can do so. Mr. Speaker, on the issue of Senator Okinyu, Esther Esi, I want to say that as a ministry, we will extend our hand of support to the family. We will reach out to the widow, Mr. Speaker, the parents, and the extended family to see how best we can work together to support them, Mr. Speaker, at this moment of grief, and to see how we can support their family. Mr. Speaker, on the question of Senator Nyamu, Mr. Speaker, again, she was raising the same issue about the protests that happened last year and the people who were affected. And I beg your indulgence, Mr. Speaker, to answer that question together with the statement that was already before this House. Mr. Speaker, Senator Cherargei has continuously continued with this song of the minister must resign. Mr. Speaker, I think it's important to say this, because I will be coming to this House over and over again. And every time I came to this House since I was appointed a minister, this same senator is only talking about Murkomen must resign. Mr. Speaker, when I was the Minister of Roads and Transport, Cherargei used to argue that I must resign because many people are dying because of road accidents. When I left the ministry, Mr. Speaker, he has gone quiet. Suddenly, there are no road accidents. Mr. Speaker, when I went to the Ministry of Sports, it is the same Senator Cherargei who kept saying I must resign. In fact, in one incident, there is a team that went for a volleyball tournament and they lost. And he said the minister must resign. Mr. Speaker, since I left the sports ministry, he has never been able to talk about performance of the volleyball team or the football team. And he never said that I must resign. When I came to this ministry, Mr. Speaker, he never waited for 2 months. He said the minister must resign. Mr. Speaker, all this resignation is compounded around a theme of the minister is incompetent. Mr. Speaker, Senator Cherargei was my student. I taught him not one subject, not 2 subjects, more than 2 subjects. Mr. Speaker, his performance was below average. Mr. Speaker, he has no legitimacy at all, Mr. Speaker, to question my competence or performance.
Honorable
Mr. Speaker,
Honorable CS,
and I will table the results if it is required.
Honorable CS, Honorable CS, the academic performance of any senator is not something to be debated here.
I will go further, Mr. Speaker. I will not even talk about it.
Honorable CS, kindly conclude and allow the other witnesses.
Mr. Speaker, since you gave him good time,
we only have 20 minutes to be shared.
I need
4 witnesses.
I need 2 minutes of right of reply, Mr. Speaker, and I will be done.
Conclude.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, when I was a senator here, the biggest debate I ever had in this chamber was police brutality against the senators who were being arrested so that they don't vote in this House. Mr. Speaker, when I stood in this chamber and told the Speaker he must not sacrifice Kenya, it was because Senator Malala had been arrested, Senator Keleleko had been arrested, Senator Lagata has been arrested, Mr. Speaker, to reduce the numbers of people who are voting to defend people from marginalized areas, including Kilifi County. Mr. Speaker, that time, Senator Cherargei was opposed to any process. He told the Speaker in this chamber, and the Hansard will bear me witness, that we must progress and vote because, Mr. Speaker, he cared less. Mr. Speaker, if performance is anything to go by, anyone else can assess my performance, not Senator Cherargei, Mr. Speaker, in that regard. Mr. Speaker, I want to say this, that and I can say many things, which I don't need to say here, but I want to conclude by saying, Mr. Speaker, this chamber is a very serious house. If I always have to come here for one individual to always be talking about incompetence, he must resign. That is a normal song every day. He doesn't provide evidence, except what he used to do here to ask questions, Mr. Speaker, that are procured from out there. What else does Senator Cherargei feel like he has done in this country? I must say that we must respect each other. We must respect people's offices. We must respect it. And when people question you the way some senators have questioned me here and asked me about my performance, I respect them because it's objective. But not every time you say this and that, Mr. Speaker. He reduces this august house, which I served gladly, Mr. Speaker, to a place of vendetta. Mr. Speaker, I beg to submit and I thank you.
The IG, please. You may take the stand and respond to the questions that have been directed to you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Let me once again start by saying that myself and the National Police Service deeply regret the unfortunate events that resulted in the death of Mr. Albert Ojwang while in the police custody. The service extends its sincere condolences to the family and loved ones of the deceased during this very difficult time. In line with our commitments to accountability and transparency, again, I would urge IPOA to move with speed so that it can be able to tell us who are these who committed this heinous crime at the Central Police Station, so that at the end of the day, they can be able to face the law squarely and answer to their crimes. Having said that, Honorable Speaker, let me start by saying that I've already apologized for the erroneous reporting that was done at that very early stages when this kind of crime was realized. And number two, that has since been rectified because we have even seen the outcomes of the autopsy that was done yesterday. In terms of compensation, my CS has actually discussed on what the way forward in terms of getting in touch with the family and assisting where we can be able, and we support that cause completely. The status of the deceased when he was brought in to Central Police Station was normal. That information, the status of the deceased when he was brought in to the Central Police Station at that 23 hours, the status was normal. The number of hours that was spent while driving from Homa Bay, that was Maweni Police Station to Central Police Station, that was roughly 5 hours, 15 minutes because the team left Maweni Police Station at around 16:00 hours and arrived in Nairobi at around 21:17 hours, roughly 5 hours and some minutes from Homa Bay to Nairobi. There is that question of why not invite the suspect to come to record statements at the nearest police station. The DCI is going to deal with that one, Honorable Speaker. This question of why the OCS had to be consulted before the suspect was placed in the cells, again, the DCI is going to answer for it very, very, very clearly, Honorable Speaker. There was also the question why the late Albert Ojwang had an opportunity was given an opportunity to call the spouse. When I was here previously answering the other questions, I did indicate that the police officers are well trained on how to treat suspects and other Kenyans alike. It is on that basis that he was given that opportunity to check on his family and even report that he has safely arrived in Nairobi. And I also indicated that police officers are always on the forefront in the defense of the rights and freedom of the people. That is our training. That is my training. So it is on that basis that he was actually given that opportunity.
Two minutes to go.
Now, in terms of processing persons of interest, the question is whether the numbers, the persons of interest have actually been exhausted. I think that one will be effectively answered by IPOA, who are actually investigating on the same honorable speaker. There was also the question as to whether DIG Rangat could be paraded before the House to hear his side of story. I think again, Honorable Speaker, that's a decision that again this House can consider. Whether there are different sets of laws for different sets of people or groups. Our laws are for everybody, and nobody is above the law. And the DIG was explained by the DCI. He did launch his complaint in writing to the DCI. And the DCI, in his wisdom, had a team to look into that complaint. And that is basically, as he explained, how that investigations commenced. There was also the question of who is the DCI officer who booked Albert in the cells. The names are also there with the IPO, and I believe the IPO is going to provide for that.
So, IG, you are referring quite a number of things to DCI and IPO.
Yes.
Kindly allow DCI to take the stand.
Thank you, DCI.
And DCI, I'll give you 8 minutes.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, one was, what is my message to the family? The message simply is that we will play any legal role to have justice for the family and confidence by the public towards the police, and we shall go out of our way to make sure that we accord all the support and cooperation to the investigations currently underway, currently being undertaken by IPOA. Senator Odinga, whether there are different laws, I would like to confirm, Honorable Speaker, that we don't have different set of laws. The laws apply equally as enacted by our parliament. And the law says any person. So we are not selective as officers of the National Police Service in the application of the laws. Suffice to say, however, that the perception of defamation is relative and may be construed differently by different people. Why the officers gave a chance to the suspect, the IG has very well explained that. It is part of the reform process, and it is normal for us to grant the suspect telephone facility, so that was actually a request made by the suspect, so that he could contact his wife and family members. And it's also a clear testimony of our adherence to the Constitution, the fundamental freedoms, and the Bill of Rights. Senator Manzo alluded to the possibility of the deceased having been injured by the DCI officers who effected the arrest. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, I may not wish to dwell on this matter. In my earlier presentation, I was able to give a chronology and the graphic details of the movement of the suspect all the way from Homa Bay up to Central Police Station. And I'm sure these are issues the Independent Police Oversight Authority will investigate to its logical conclusion. Like I said, if any DCI officer is found to be involved in the killing, then, Honorable Speaker, let the law take its course. We are not covering up for anybody. In terms of the DCI officer who booked Albert Ojwang, the booking was not done by a DCI officer, Honorable Speaker. Like I had said in my previous submission, the booking was done digitally by a report office personnel. And I'm sure the particular officer, the identity of that particular officer will be established in the investigations. Why not summon? Honorable Speaker, when it comes to